Hello, friend of karmic affinity. There is an extremely brief moment that is decisive for your entire health. It is not the time you take medicine, nor is it the time you exercise. It is precisely the moment right before you fall asleep. In that fragile boundary between wakefulness and sleep, your body is waiting for a signal of safety to begin its most miraculous repair process. Yet, sadly, most of us unintentionally ruin this golden moment every night. Try observing yourself. You get into bed, cover up with a warm blanket, and close your eyes. But inside, your heart is still racing. Your shoulders are still clenched tight, and your mind is still racing with tomorrow's worries. There is a saying that accurately describes this silent tragedy. Your body has lain down, but your nervous system is still standing. When the nervous system remains on guard in a defensive posture, the door to healing stays tightly shut. Today, let us learn how to truly lie down from the inside to awaken the most talented doctor sleeping within you. When does the body truly repair itself? My dear friend, to understand the secret of recovery, we need to look deep into the mechanism of life within us. Science has proven that the human body possesses an extraordinary self-healing intelligence. It can patch up wounds, eliminate toxins, and regenerate aged cells. However, this miraculous machine only operates at its maximum under one prerequisite: if and only if your nervous system switches completely to the rest and digest mode. Imagine your nervous system is like a sentry. During the day, as you work, worry, and face pressure, that soldier is always in a state of high alert to protect you. That is survival mode. But the tragedy of modern humans is that when night falls, that soldier refuses to lay down his weapons. Worries about tomorrow and regrets about the past continue to send false danger signals, misleading the brain into thinking the threat is still there. When the nervous system is still vigilant, the body never dares to commit its full strength to internal repair. It prioritizes energy for fight or flight. This is why many people, despite sleeping 8 hours a night, wake up feeling battered, achy, and exhausted. Their sleep only stays at the level of survival, meaning just enough so they don't collapse. But it hasn't reached the deep layers of rebirth and recovery. Therefore, a real problem is not a lack of sleep time, but a lack of ability to let go of control. We don't know how to turn off the alarm in our minds. The 3-minute ritual I am about to share with you is the key to doing exactly that. It is not a physical exercise, but a message of safety sent to every cell, allowing the body to cast off the burden of defense to return to its sacred work of healing. The first minute. Activating the vagus nerve with a long exhale. Now, begin this 3-minute ritual right on your cozy bed. Lie on your back, letting your body be as naturally relaxed as possible. In the first minute, we will work with the breath. Please do not try to inhale deeply or strain to follow any breathing technique. Gently place one hand on your lower abdomen. This touch is very important. It helps you reconnect with the center of your body and feel the rhythmic rise and fall of life. Your only task in these 60 seconds is to lengthen your exhale. When you inhale, just let it happen naturally. But when you exhale, actively make it slower, smoother, and longer than the inhale. You can count silently in your head. Inhale, 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why must we do this? This is not a psychological therapy or positive thinking. Reassurance. This is a direct biological command. Science has discovered a special nerve called the vagus nerve. It runs from the brain down to the heart, lungs, and stomach, acting as the commander-in-chief of the rest system. When you are anxious, your breath is short and shallow, sending an alarm signal to the brain. But when you actively lengthen the exhale, you are sending a powerful reverse signal. You are telling the nervous system, Everything is safe. There are no predators, no danger. We can rest now. Immediately, your heart rate will slow down. Your blood pressure will stabilize. Your stiff muscles will begin to soften. This is an irresistible natural physiological response. You don't need to think about relaxing. You just need to breathe correctly, and the body will automatically relax. Maintain this smooth rhythm. Feel your abdomen gently pushing your hand up as you inhale and sinking deeper as you exhale. Every exhale is a time you cast off the invisible burdens of today onto the mattress. Let the breath lead you through the first door of letting go. In this safe space, you don't need to do anything. Just breathe and feel the peace spreading gradually through every cell. The second minute, scanning the body and granting permission. Once the breath has entered a smooth and deep rhythm, we move to the second minute of the ritual. This is when you shift your attention from the abdomen to listen to the entire temple of your body. Usually, we have a habit of only noticing the body when it is in pain, tired, or broken somewhere. We look at the body with the eyes of an anxious repairman, always looking for faults to fix. But in this moment, I invite you to look at your body with the eyes of a benevolent mother. Gently sweep your attention from the top of your head, drifting over your face, down your shoulders, gliding down your spine, and all the way to your heels. If during this observation you encounter a tight area or an ache, please do not rush to resist it or feel annoyed. Do not try to use your will to force it to relax immediately. Simply recognize that, this place needs more rest. This non-judgmental awareness is the golden key. There is a miraculous biological mechanism. As soon as your brain stops sending control signals and stops worrying about defects, the body's innate self-repair mechanism will immediately return. Like when a homeowner turns off the lights to sleep, the silent repairmen can begin their work most effectively. Shift your mindset from the state of doing to the state of permitting. Permit your heavy shoulders to drop onto the mattress. Permit your jaw to relax completely. Permit your entire body to melt into the soft support of the bed. You don't need to exert any effort. Just be fully present and trust life to take care of its work. That is true rest. The third minute, the art of doing nothing. And now, we enter the final minute of the ritual, the most important moment to reach the deep layers of healing. This is the art of doing nothing. My dear friend, in the first 2 minutes, you breathed and you observed. But in this minute, I want you to let go of even those efforts. Stop trying to follow the breath. Stop trying to scan the body. And most importantly, let go of the craving to sleep well, or the desire to be cured. There is a profound truth. True repair begins when you stop monitoring. When you are anxiously monitoring whether you have fallen asleep yet, or whether the pain has decreased, you are unintentionally maintaining a subtle tension in the mind. You are still standing guard instead of lying down. Trust absolutely in the body's intelligence. It knows exactly what to do with every cell and every blood vessel without the direction of your conscious mind. Imagine you are floating down a peaceful river. You don't need to swim or steer. The water will automatically support and carry you. Hand control back to the universe, to the great life operating within you. The moment you dare to let go completely, holding on to no desires, is exactly when the door to deep sleep and the most miraculous healing is thrown wide open to welcome you in. The paradox of desire, when wanting to heal, creates tension. My dear friend, we have gone through the 3 steps of the relaxation ritual. However, there is an invisible but enormous obstacle that many people, including long-term meditators, still frequently stumble upon. That is the craving for results. This is a very subtle psychological paradox. You lie down. You perform the breathing exercises. You relax your muscles correctly according to technique. But deep inside, a part of your mind is still impatiently waiting. It secretly watches and constantly asks why you haven't fallen asleep yet, why the pain is still there, and whether this method is actually effective, or if you are wasting your time. It is exactly this intense desire that I must sleep, or the pain must stop now, that becomes the source of a new type of stress, even more toxic than the initial anxiety. Imagine your body is like an exhausted employee who needs rest, while your mind is like a harsh manager standing right next to them, arms crossed, monitoring and urging the employee to relax. Under that pressured, scrutinizing gaze, can the body truly relax? Certainly not. It will only shrink further in anxiety and defense. There is a wonderful saying I want you to remember. Healing never takes place under strict supervision. Imagine you have a skin wound. If every few minutes you open the bandage to check if it is healed, or touch it with your hand to see if it still hurts, that wound will bleed forever and never have a chance to close. The recovery process needs silence, darkness, and most importantly, the absence of violent intervention. Sleep and internal healing are exactly like that. They are natural processes belonging to the survival instinct, not tasks or projects that you can use your will to complete. When you try to sleep, you will become more awake. When you exert effort to force the pain away, the pain will become even more vivid. Therefore, the biggest mistake to avoid is turning the time before sleep into a performance race. Please put down the clock in your mind. Don't worry about what time it is, and don't worry about how tired you will be tomorrow if you don't get enough sleep. Give the body absolute trust. Tell it that it is allowed to take as long as it likes. You are not in a hurry, you are not judging, and you are not waiting for a result. When you withdraw the role of the supervisor and return the free space to the body, you will see the subtle tension vanish. And in the moment you least expect it, when you are no longer trying, sleep and healing will gently come to you like an unexpected gift. That is the secret of complete relaxation. Sacred renunciation, the secret of the ascetics. We are approaching the most essential part of tonight's healing journey. This is no longer a technique of body regulation, but a supreme art of mind regulation. A secret that helps Zen masters lie down and fall asleep immediately in the deep forest, or in the harshest circumstances. That secret is called renunciation. Perhaps when you hear the word renunciation, you feel a bit hesitant, but please do not misunderstand. Here, we are not talking about renouncing your family, job, or life responsibilities forever. We are talking about a temporary renunciation, a deliberate and wise letting go during the period of sleep. Look at how we usually go to bed. We change into pajamas, cover up with a blanket, and turn off the lights. But in our minds, we are still wearing our daytime clothes. We still carry the roles of a mother worrying about her children, an employee fearing a deadline, or a husband or wife who is sulking. We bring the whole world into the blanket with us. And because the brain sees that you are still carrying those roles, it understands that the work is not over, and it continues to maintain a state of stressful activity to solve problems. The ritual of renunciation here is a decisive internal gesture. It is the moment you declare to yourself the most powerful mantra. In the next 8 hours, I have no problems to solve. Contemplate this sentence deeply. I have no problems to solve. It means that the world out there is still turning. The troubles are still there. But in this very moment, they do not belong to your jurisdiction. You grant yourself permission to resign from all roles. You are not a boss, not an employee, not a parent, and not a child. You are simply a life in need of rest. Why is this so important for healing? Because the human brain operates on an on and off mechanism. If you don't actively close today, The brain will leave it in a suspended state, like background apps on a phone that drain the battery quickly. Renunciation is the power off button. It sends a clear message that the session has ended. All files have been put in drawers, and no one is allowed to disturb this rest. Practice this internal gesture tonight. Imagine you are standing before the door of sleep. Before stepping through, you take off the heavy backpack of responsibility from your shoulders and place it outside the threshold. You tell your worries, I leave you here. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, I will come back to pick you up and continue solving you. But for now, I belong to peace. The feeling when you truly perform this act of letting go is one of infinite relief. It is like shedding heavy iron armor after a long battle. Your body will sag, soften, and melt into the support of the earth. This is not irresponsibility. It is respect for the laws of nature. You need to be completely empty before you can be refilled with energy. When you dare to renounce everything in sleep, you will receive all your strength back when you wake up. That is the miraculous paradox of healing. Letting go of consciousness is an accepting temporary disappearance. Once you have performed the ritual of renouncing external worries, the final challenge to reaching deep sleep lies within you. It is the letting go of consciousness and accepting the temporary disappearance of the ego. My dear friend, there is a very interesting but also troubling psychological truth. The people who have the most difficulty sleeping are often the ones with the strongest capacity for control during the day. They are capable, resourceful people who always want to keep everything within reach and fear unexpected risks. Why is this? Because in essence, going to sleep is an act of letting go of the steering wheel of life completely. To sleep deeply, you must accept that in the next few hours, your ego, that person who is always thinking, deciding, and worrying, will temporarily stop functioning. You will sink into an unconscious space where you no longer control anything. For a mind accustomed to straining to hold on, this feeling of vanishing can cause a subtle fear. We unconsciously resist sleep by thinking continuously. Not necessarily because we want to solve problems, but to maintain the sense that we still exist, that we are still in control. We fear that if we loosen our vigilance, if we let ourselves free fall into the darkness, everything will collapse. But look at the language we use. We say, fall asleep. You cannot walk into sleep. You cannot run into sleep. You must fall. Falling means having no point to cling to. Falling means entrusting yourself completely to gravity. The deepest healing only takes place at this level, where your consciousness completely withdraws so that the body's natural intelligence can take the throne. Tonight, I invite you to practice this exercise of absolute trust. When sleepiness comes, please do not try to hold on to any thought. Do not try to control how you will sleep. Allow yourself to melt away, to merge into the gentle darkness. Tell yourself, I am safe when not in control. I am ready to disappear for a while so that life may be regenerated. Do not fear the emptiness. The world will still operate in order while you sleep. The sun will still rise. The earth will still turn. You do not need to stay awake to guard the universe. Hand the shift back to the great life. When you dare to lay down even your ego, you will sink into a good and profound sleep like never before, where all boundaries of suffering are erased. That is the sweetest surrender. My dear friend, we have traveled together through the secret of recovery in the 3 minutes before sleep. To close this video, I want to leave you with one final message. A master key for you to open the door to sustainable health. We often think healing is a verb, a thing to be done, an act. We think we must take medicine, exercise, or exert effort and meditation for the body to get healthy. But the truth is much deeper than that. Healing is not a single action. Healing is a climate. Imagine your body is like a garden. You cannot pull a plant by hand to make it grow faster, nor can you force a flower bud to bloom immediately. But you can create a favorable climate, enough sun, enough rain, loose soil, and no pests. When the environment is right, life will automatically proliferate without any violent intervention. The 3-minute ritual before sleep is how you create that climate for your body every night. When you slow your breath, you are cooling the atmosphere. When you let go of anxiety, you are pulling weeds. When you trust and entrust, you are watering the nectar of serenity. In that atmosphere of peace and absolute safety, the innate intelligence of the body will know exactly what to do to repair damaged cells, rebalance hormones, and restore vital energy. Remember, your body is millions of times smarter than your will. It has been programmed to survive and thrive since you were an embryo. It does not need your direction or control. It only needs you not to hinder it. It only needs you to stop holding on to tension, stop straining in opposition, and stop interfering with fear. Every night, before falling asleep, remind yourself, my task is not to cure. My task is to create peace. Turn your bed into a sanctuary where every storm must stop at the door. If these thoughts have brought you a bit of light or relief, please help me spread this wholesome energy further by pressing the like button and subscribing to the channel. Leave a comment sharing your feelings, or simply a goodnight wish to the community. May you be able to cast off the earthly burden every night to return to being a carefree child in the arms of sleep. May your body and mind always be bathed in miraculous healing. Goodbye, and see you in beautiful dreams.